suggest that abolishing the FBI is likely to be easy. It may not even be possible, but it doesn't mean we should not make the request. One of the things I think I heard news today was that more whistleblowers have gone to members of Congress and talked about things happening in the field offices that are essentially corrupt the same way. And it's not just at the top, but it's a problem throughout much more of the organization than just the very top.
How many people are employed by the FBI, Dale? Do you have any idea?
Oh, I'd say agent-wise, I'd say in the neighborhood of 10,000. I mean, if you want to add support staff, then I'd say, probably 30,000. Maybe more.
So 10,000 agents around the country, that's a lot. It's more than I would have expected by quite a bit.
Well, there was just in the Chicago field office where I served, there were probably 450.
Wow. Okay, well, there you go.
So there's probably like 600 in Los Angeles, 600 in New York. I mean, it starts adding up,
Oh, yeah.
There were like 15, 16 in Merrillville. So you start adding up all those little offices all over the country, and, it adds up after a while.
Yeah. So definitely it's a lot of people. And maybe one of the things that would make people more inclined to agree is knowing how big the FBI really is. If you're talking about 10,000 agents, 30,000 additional employees, that's like 3,000 people. That's a lot. That's a huge organization, law enforcement organization, right?
Well, yeah, but look at the IRS has got, 86,000 agents or something. They're wanting to double it.
Right.
So that gives you a little bit of an idea. And I sort of agree with Larry. I think that the chance of dissolving the organization is probably slim. But I do believe if enough heat was put on, like through a movement like this, that it could prompt meaningful change. Where somebody comes in with an axe and really, reshapes things, and that's probably what needs to happen. And that could realistically happen if there's enough call to dismantle it altogether. Rather than do that, they'd be willing to do anything.
Yeah.
Has the director ever been a law enforcement man?
Not in my lifetime.
Okay.
Attorneys, judges, that kind of thing.
What was Hoover's background?
He just kind of started off as a government bureaucrat, I think.
Yeah.
I thought maybe he might have been a lawman.
No, I think he was, I think he came in when it was still the Bureau of Investigation.
Yeah.
And he was I don't think he had any kind of law enforcement background to my knowledge. I don't really know, but I know I've read about that. But anyway, that's a side topic. A couple things I want to look at. We've got a fair number of people on the list of let me pull this up. Maybe I can share my screen on this. People that are people who are in process in some role or another. Now my screens are moving back and forth, and I want them to. See if I can share this screen. Some of these we're not really going to look at. Can you see my screen now?
No.
Not yet.
There we go.
Okay. Okay. So these are all the open and in process and onboarding. The other ones I really want to look at are volunteer activists.
I can't see it.
All right. Maybe it's going to be a waste of time for you to try to look at my screen. I'll tell you. I'm just going to go through these. LW, there's a guy named Jason Bauer who had applied to be a volunteer activist. And I had made a request to get him to verify his account and sign a volunteer agreement. Sent it to him another notice, and he has not responded, so I rejected him. I think you had talked to him like a month ago or 2 months ago. If you want to reach out and try to talk to him again and see if he wants to, become an activist, that'd be good. Again, his name is Jason Bauer, Bauer.
Yes, he was a volunteer at the 4th of July table at Carmel Fest, and real active. He's a young guy. I gave his name and contact information to Scott Edwards. So I haven't talked to Scott in a while. He's been away. I'll find out what's going on.
Well, in any case, he needs to verify his account, confirm his account, and then sign a volunteer agreement, and then we can get him onboarded as a volunteer activist.
Oh, that's the other thing is you need to get that.
Also,
She will watch TV. And actually, there's those fish ones.
yeah,
That's the
House
same
District
place for Penny Break.
17. Sorry, I've got a lot of background noise here.
Or is that what that was?
You might want to mute. You might want to mute yourself. Anybody that's not actively talking. I'm going to kill this screen sharing. See if that helps. Richard in House District 17, we've got a Samantha Resman. And I think, Dale, you may have had contact with her. But Richard, you might want to reach out and talk to her and see what her interest is in being active, maybe becoming a district captain over there or something. In any case, we want to try to cultivate those. You said relationships. Samantha Resman, Resman.
All right, that's how I spelled it, Samantha Resman. All right.
Yeah, she was just fairly recent that I think
I'll find her.
Signed up. And Dale, you had reached out to Patricia Cole. Have you had any more contact with her? Dale, your mic is muted. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I say that was probably just related to getting a volunteer agreement signed or something, Gary, I think.
Okay. Did you try to call her?
I don't recall. If I called her, I just sent her that email.
Okay. That's over in that area where we don't have a an active region captain. She is in, I think it'll be the new Region 4 south of you. She's down in Delphi. I don't know if you want to try reaching out to her and see what
Yeah, give me her name again.
Patricia Cole, Cole.
All right.
And a few others are on here that are in Mike Baugh's regions. I'll have a conversation with him later on those. I had mentioned to you that at the region or at the state planning meeting, there's going to be a segment. A total of about an hour has been allocated for this, but in view of the fact that we hope we can leave earlier than 4 o'clock in the afternoon, if we don't need a full hour, we probably will not spend an hour on it. But the time is allocated from 11 to 12 for kind of a panel discussion of region captains. And again, I'm going to be asking you guys collectively, number one, what are things that worked well in the last year? What was successful? What did not work? Where did you feel like something you tried didn't really work? And maybe what did you learn from that? And then overall, kind of applying the act, learn, adjust philosophy. What would you say going forward you learned this year that you want to adjust going forward, that we can, make ourselves a more effective organization? So I'd like you to be thinking about those things, maybe have some ideas in mind, things you want to talk about. And when we have that time in the planning meeting, again, there's about an hour allocated. If we need all of that hour, that's fine. If we can wrap it up sooner than that, that'll just allow us to move forward with the agenda for the day and maybe get out earlier. Anybody have any questions about that?
Did we settle on a time? I think somebody wanted to go a little earlier, if I remember, or a little later, I guess it was.
I think the plan right now is to from 8:30 in the morning until 9 in the morning, kind of coffee social time. The people are going to set up are going to be there at 8 o'clock to start setting up. 8:30 to 9 is kind of time to gather and chat. And then the meeting, the idea is the official start meeting would be at 9 o'clock. We talked about maybe making it later, but I think everyone agreed that it'd be good to stick with that 9 o'clock. People thought it would be more favorable to start earlier and maybe end earlier rather than start later and have the meeting, continue until later in the afternoon. So that's pretty close to your backyard, LW. So that probably doesn't matter much to you, right?
Oh, it's just an hour drive.
An hour, okay. Well, that's further than I was thinking, but I guess that's right. Anderson is a little ways away from you.
Yeah, a little bit east and north.
Yeah. One of the ideas that was brought up recently was the idea of using the block walking as a way to recruit new volunteers. So, people, you go around, pick a neighborhood, you go around and talk to people. Yeah, we might be able to find some people who really want to, connect and become activists. What do you guys think about that idea? Do you think that has some merit, or what do you think?
I'd say probably the earlier the day, the better.
Who's talking here?
I'll give you my experience. I canvassed earlier this year on election integrity, and I only canvassed on weekdays. I didn't do any weekends, but I found almost probably 70% of the people weren't home. Well, I think you run the risk of knocking on a lot of doors and not finding anybody home.
Okay. What time of day did you go, Larry?
Well, let's see. Morning and afternoon. So it was split between the two, and it wasn't typically more than 2 hours at a time, maybe 2.5 hours.
Okay.
They'd break for lunch. A couple times we went morning and afternoon. Perhaps the people on Saturdays. I could ask one of the individuals who was behind it what they talk to everybody.
Okay.
Gomez was the secretary, and I could talk to her and find out whether Saturdays were a lot better than weekdays. I don't know.
It's one of those things.
Yeah, in the block walking course, they recommend Saturdays between 10 and 12.
Yeah, Saturday usually is a pretty good time to catch people in the morning. If you're doing weekdays, in my experience, late afternoon is probably the optimal time there, like 4 to 6, kind of in that time window. But the idea isn't that you're looking for big quantities of people in the block walking. This kind of the theory was you pick an area where you do not have a district captain or volunteer activists, and maybe you go in and you take a couple hours and do block walking, partly to get petitions and just spread the word, but also looking for the possibility of finding a leader. And it's probably a low probability that you're going to find somebody. So, when I say low probability, maybe a 5%, 10%, but the opportunity to be face to face, eyeball to eyeball with people is usually a very effective way to get people to volunteer. People, when they're signing up online, they don't know who the people are they're dealing with. They don't know, it's hard to really make a connection there. But if you're standing there talking to them and they can see that, you're not wearing a tinfoil hat and, you don't probably have your AR-15 slung over your back where they think, you're a pretty normal person and, you're willing to put yourself out by coming to their door and knocking on their door and talking to them. And a lot of people are much more responsive to that kind of a face-to-face contact and realize you're a real person just like them and, are likely to be or potentially more responsive to just do an email blast or text blast. Anyway, something to think about. Something, we may want to try later on in some areas where we don't have active volunteers, where we don't have district captains. We have some pretty good sized areas of the state that we don't have district captains in that area. And, places we've had some, but we don't still have people. And we want to get geographically to get better coverage of the state.
Are we supposed to walk in pairs when we do that?
Yes, they recommend that you always go. In fact, ideally, maybe you have like 4 people and 2 people are on one side of the street and 2 people are on the opposite side of the same street. So you're kind of within eyesight of each other. And you maybe go spend, an hour or 2 block walking and then you go have coffee or lunch or something. So it could be, it's not something you do necessarily on your own, which canvassing, usually people do that for elections, do it by themselves. Most of the time, I've always just gone alone. But I think the COS idea, the block walking and going 2 or more people into an area, I think is a really good way to do it. There's always safety in numbers. And so, yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about it. I think that's something we're going to do here soon.
Okay. Yeah, let me know when you're thinking of doing that, and maybe we can try to get some other volunteers to participate. Vicky, wanted to ask you, do you have any connection? Have you had any contact with Fred Dennison lately? I've reached out to him several times and he's not responded. I don't know what the situation's going on.
He is, I'm not sure where he's located, if it's Terre Haute or where he's at, but he is doing that travel nurse. He signed another contract. So that's all I know. I haven't talked to him either.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to find out too if he is he and Gary Ridenour are still. Gary Ridenour said he was still interested in being actively involved, but I didn't know what he had in mind. So the 2 of them did a lot of stuff together, and I know Fred Dennison was thinking that he was going to wrap up his travel nursing and move back to the Wabash and try to open a business of some kind there, I think. So don't know if anything's happening on that or not.
Well, the last I heard, last he told me is he was going to move back to Wabash and then he was going to be the district captain in that district. But then he went ahead, they offered him too much money. When he told him he was leaving, they're like, well, how about if we give you this or we give you that? They talked him into staying. So,
okay.
I'm not sure how long those stints are for. I don't know if it's 6 months or a year or what it is.
I think they're at least 6 months. They maybe are longer depending on the circumstance. Of course, if they were giving him some extras, they might have asked him to commit to, a year or longer. I don't know. But anyway, if you have the opportunity to connect with him, I'd like to know what's going on. He has not been active on Citizen Builder for quite a while, and so we might want to think about stepping him back to DC team if he's not going to be actively involved for the time being, and thinking we'll ramp him up again sometime in the future.
Okay.
So, okay.
I'll contact him.
Okay. Anybody else have anything, questions, comments, things you want to talk about?
I do. The training sheet. I sent that new one now to Carla, but these sheets, you can't really put the dates in them. So how's that going to work?
Larry, was that set up with the idea that people could enter the dates that they completed items, or how does that work?
Yeah, the person, the volunteer should be able to enter the date that they completed. And they should be myself and that person should be the only ones that can put the dates in.
Okay, because I tried to do it and I couldn't.
Yeah.
The block highlighted, it didn't highlight it. It made a thing around it, but I couldn't enter anything. And I was just testing it out to see if she was going to be able to.
Yeah, we did that to protect the sheet, to protect the volunteer from another volunteer inadvertently putting something in the wrong column.
Okay, now her name's the only name on that sheet besides my name. Is
Right.
everyone going to have their own sheet?
No.
Okay.
Okay,
Now,
any other questions?
I say she may be the only one that's been signed up on the sheet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully there will be more to follow. Okay, well,
Hey,
I,
can you hear me, Gary?
yeah, I
Hey,
can.
I found out this afternoon that Convention Estates did get a spot in the Blueberry Parade, position number 79.
Okay,
So that means I'll have banners and the like the yard signs for people to carry as well. So we'll be marching in the Blueberry Parade this Monday coming up. So I should, within the next day or so, receive the information as where to meet, when to meet, and the map and all that good stuff. But as always, they're kind of like last minute.
okay. Richard, do you want to send out a text blast on that to try to get people to volunteer to help?
Well, I'm gonna do text and email, but I've had an email, a draft waiting, and I've been waiting like a week and a half for, to find out what's going on and everything. And I just they sent me a text this afternoon, so that was a good deal. But yeah, once I get more information, I'm gonna try and go over there tomorrow, maybe take a lunch or whatnot during lunch, see if I can get more information.
Where's that festival at?
It's in Plymouth, downtown Plymouth.
Okay.
So we block off several blocks, and for the Blueberry Festival weekend, you figure what Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the parade, we usually average a little over 500,000 people come to this town.
Do you have the balloons? Is that where the Blueberry Festival that has the air balloons?
Yes, they do.
Okay, I've been to it. Okay.
Richard, have you talked to Rick Lyon about this to get any support from him?
When I was messing on my phone trying to get into this meeting and everything earlier, I had also sent him a message in Slack on my phone, because I was at work this afternoon when I got the message, so I couldn't really do anything, so I got out of work.
Okay.
So that was like after 6:30 this evening, because today was only a 12-and-a-half-hour day, and it's like, geez, Pete. But it was an early 12 and a half, That's why I'm actually able to sit down here, because usually I'm not getting home till like 8:30 to 9 at night.
Right. Well, let me let Lisa Phillips know also. She's the event coordinator for this region. Vicki, would you want to let her know about that and see if she has any? They're getting ready for the parade in Grable, so I don't know if she has any extra resources, but they've got like little American flags to hand out, some things like that. So anyway, we'd like to try to support you if we can, Richard.
What is it? What is it you want me to get from her?
Just check and see if she has any extra stuff that she could share with Richard for the Blueberry Parade.
For handouts?
It's Monday.
You mean for handouts?
Yeah.
Okay, I can ask her, but she's probably going to say hold on to that stuff for Grable, but I'll ask her.
That'd be my guess. Yeah. But just check and see if she feels like they've got anything extra, and if so, we'll try to figure out a plan to help Richard with that. Okay. Well, I'm gonna cut off the recording, and